Hey everyone, Coach Investor back to another video for today. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. So as always, a weekly recap of what you might have missed with regards to Tesla this week. And if you already know what happened, this will just be a summary video for you that you can always come back and look at. So of course, we're going to talk about the rumored new factory location and my thoughts to why this might actually be a logical move. Some price hikes, the announcement by the White House, and then the so-called recall and the, problem with what happens with the potential unionization of the Buffalo location. So if you're interested in all of that, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you have not, I would really appreciate it. And if you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Also, by the way, Tesla had a pretty good week, all things considered. It's up 7%, unlike the overall market, which had, a roller coaster ride this week. So of course, in the current weeks and months, we're going to hear a lot about inflation, what the Fed might do, because we had a hotter than expected CPI report and PPI report as well. So let's wait and see what Jerome Powell will actually do in the next Fed meeting. All right, so announcement number one came yesterday. So Tesla's Musk to hold call with Mexico president factory announcement is imminent. Of course, we've heard this rumor already a couple of times, whether it's Mexico, whether it's Indonesia, maybe even sometimes Canada. Now, to be honest, if this is true, then I don't think they will wait until March 1st to announce it. I think they'll announce it maybe before and then clarify the idea behind it on March 1st. Maybe on March 1st, they'll even announce other factories. Can be. Now, they say here in the quote, very soon we will have a confirmation that this company, which is so important, which is very close to the electromobility priorities we are promoting, has chosen Mexico to increase its presence. Of course, until Tesla doesn't release an official statement, these are just rumors as of now. But of course, since this is coming from various reputable sources, you might think that an announcement is imminent. Now, does it make sense to have a factory in Mexico? Yes, probably. Especially when it comes to the Gen 3 platform, because I don't think they will open factories in Mexico or in Indonesia, or maybe let's say in Canada as well, if it wouldn't be straight up for the Gen 3 platform. Because in Mexico, what are they going to produce? Model S's and X's? Who are they going to sell this to? North Americans? Fine. But then what's the point? You would like these locations to maybe be the location for the so-called Model 2. Why is that? Because probably you could produce it at those locations at a reduced cost. By those locations, I purely mean here Mexico and maybe potentially Indonesia. Also Indonesia, very, very rich soil. Mexico, very rich in raw materials as well. So it makes sense. Now again, until there is an official announcement by Tesla, this just is TBD. Then news number two, which I thought was very, very interesting that suddenly came out. So Tesla is considering a bid for battery metals miners. Sigma Lithium, at first I thought this was a joke just because of the name. Sigma Lithium said to explore sale of $3 billion miner. Now, of course, when this came out after hours, the shares surged 25%. Now, the thing here that deliberations are in the early stages and may not lead to a transaction. So again, this is just a report that came out. Let's wait and see what happens. Of course, with the price now that it's 25% higher. I don't know if price was already discussed or not, but you have to take all of this into consideration. And last thing here, its biggest investor is holding 43%, is A10 Investimentos, a Brazilian private equity fund that Sigma co-chief executive officer Ana Cabral Gardner helped establish. So since that person owns 46%, they will have to say a lot with regards to this deal. Now, of course, this would be an interesting move for Tesla. It won't really come cheap-ish, but it is a very interesting move for them to push into that lithium segment. Of course, we already saw General Motors invest in Lithium Americas. We know that Tesla already has an agreement with another company as well. But this move to me was a bit surprising. If it works out, then fine, another vertical integration. And then at the start of this week, we had some news that Tesla workers launched a campaign to form a union in New York. So that's the Buffalo location. Now, the news here that came out was, okay, another attempt to unionize at a Tesla factory. So they believe unionizing will give us a voice in our workplace that we feel has been ignored to this point. We are only asking for a seat in the car that we helped build. So first of all, they don't build cars there, by the way. Second of all, okay, fine. Sometimes having a union, yes, does make a lot of sense. But since this is always a small portion of the people that work there, if you don't believe me, just go on Tesla forums and read the posts there. Now, of course, this came out at the perfect time because just after that, there were an announcement that Tesla were laying off workers at that location. So of course, suddenly you have to make the link 1 + 1 = 3 that, well, they fired them because they wanted to unionize. Well, this is an official statement in response to the false allegation. So I'll just summarize this. Tesla conducts performance review cycles every 6 months, so July and December. This included information that exists for lower performers would start the week of February 12, 2023. Approximately 4% of the employees on the autopilot labeling team in Buffalo were exited as a result of this performance review cycle. So this has nothing to do with the unionizing effort. They knew exactly that this type of thing was going to happen. Now, my question is, since they knew this was going to happen, would maybe a body like, I don't know, the UAW maybe push for a union move right before this date just so the optics look bad on Tesla? Maybe, I don't know, I just have my tinfoil hat on today, but hey, this might be true. We've heard about other moves, sneaky moves that they've been doing for years and years now, so it wouldn't really be surprising to me. And for those that are saying that 4% is a lot, well, maybe it might be a lot, but to me it's not really that much. And they say here over the last 6 months, the department's employee base has grown 54% from 437 employees to 675 employees as the beginning of this week. And now moving on to some price hikes. So first of all, we have one in Australia. Model Y performance is up by $274. In South Korea, the price is up around $2,300. In China, the price is again up by just $290. And so when it comes to demand fears, I think we've seen in the last couple of weeks a couple of hikes each and every week. So I don't think demand here is an issue. If it was an issue, I don't think they would be raising prices so fast one after the other. So again, good news. Let's see if the customers that bought a week earlier will come into the store and give Tesla the extra money that they're missing right now. Now, next up, we have obviously the total recall of the over 350,000 vehicles that Tesla had. Now, this is not the first time that these are the headlines that Tesla has to recall 50,000 or 100,000 or I don't know how many thousands of vehicles because of something that can be fixed via over-the-air updates. Now, of course, in this case, from what I've heard, this is an annoying thing that happens. So it's regards to full self-driving software that may cause a crash. Now, I'll say this again and again. This just proves yet again that we're far, far away from robotaxis and full self-driving, not a beta version, but an overly accepted version that will just be allowed to drive in the street, no problem, no questions asked. I think we're still very, very far away for this to be allowed also by the law to have robotaxis just because of small issues like this. Of course, these are always small issues here and there, but then you have to tweak it. Are you becoming more, restrictive, more lenient? It really depends on what's the issue, and this is the thing that will take a lot of time, especially since, 99% of the cars still on the road today are still driven by humans and not by robots. Once you have a lot more cars on the road that are driven by robots, then yes, maybe it becomes a bit more comfortable because then the cars might even communicate with each other, etc. But currently, this is why I always said, robotaxis, to me, I don't think I will see this decade. Oh, and with regards to headlines, this is from Farzad and he makes an excellent point. Tesla is recalling 362,000 cars with dangerous, unlawful, full self-driving tech. And as he says here, this is easily top 10 most trash headline ever seen. I totally agree with him. Of course, they have to add dangerous, unlawful, full self-driving tech. I can assure you that there are more accidents and more people that have died in accidents that don't have FSD in their cars because they just can't drive. This is just a human statistics. Humans cannot drive. And then lastly, obviously the announcement from the White House. So the Biden-Harris administration announces new standards and major progress for a Made in America national network of electric vehicle chargers. And of course, we're all very, very happy to see that in an official statement from the White House, they mention Tesla. So Tesla for the first time will open a portion of its US supercharger and destination charger network to non-Tesla EVs, making it at least 7,500 chargers available for all EVs by the end of 2024. Of course, they will probably have some select locations that will be specifically available for those non-Teslas. And then when they'll open their application, they'll see that it's written not a Tesla. Maybe that will incentivize them to buy a Tesla later on. Maybe they'll see that other Tesla owners are charging faster or charging for less money, and maybe they'll make the switch. But of course, this was always the plan, right? This was always the plan to open the network, to make it easier to basically push for electrification. So of course, this is the correct move to make. It's nice to see that finally Tesla gets some recognition here. But to me, this was just an when, not an if. And so to conclude, as we're getting closer to March 1st, I think we might be getting a bit more news with regards to new location, maybe some confirmation as well. To me, it makes sense to have Mexico as a pure Gentry platform factory, maybe Indonesia as well, and then see where we go from there. With regards to the price hikes, I would not be surprised if we can see more of them in the coming weeks as well. With regards to recalls and fake headlines, expect them to continue. That's probably the only way they can still hold on to their power. Now, of course, if you have some extra information that I missed, let me know down in the comments below. What are your expectations from these Mexico or maybe potential Indonesia or Canada locations? Let me know down there as well. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.